Welcome back to the channel. Good morning, and today we're going to talk about how to stay injury free in judo. Stop doing it and change sport. Thank you for watching, and remember to aim upward as always. Jokes aside, instead of stop doing it in judo because it's very difficult to stop, I tried myself, but I cannot really do that. I will teach you how to reduce as much the risk of injury as you possibly humanly can. But who am I and why you should listen to me? My name is Stanislav. I'm a physical therapist and I'm a judoka that have done the sport for 15 plus years. And in my career, I've faced a lot of injuries. I dislocated pinky in my hand when I was around 15. It remained blocked inside the lapel of one of my training partners, and my finger basically moved like that. It turned at 90% degrees, and I put it back into place. I broke the pinky in my feet. I had bilateral elbow tendinopathy, which is something that I would not um, recommend to anyone. I had bilateral bone edema in my shoulders because a guy threw me in Tayotoshi and I fall on my shoulder and it hurted so much that I wasn't even able to lift it up. I thought that I broke my clavicula, but luckily it was just bone edema. And it happened the same thing in my left shoulder a year later, and I had the same symptoms. My shoulder was very very swollen. I wasn't able to lift my arm up. I wasn't able to put my pants. It was really difficult for me to put also to put clothing on myself. It was really difficult to live, not only doing judo. I had neck radiculopathy, which is when your neck is compressed and the nerves who are getting out of the neck are compressed, and so you basically don't feel like you don't have sensibility in your arm, which is not very good. I had back pain, several episodes of back pain. I had hip pain and iliotibial band syndrome, and much more. But why am I telling you all of this? I'm telling you all of this because what I've learned from all that injuries is that most injuries will get just better with time. So it doesn't make sense to catastrophize what you will experience because pain is a human experience. Is normal to have periods when you will are more stressed or where you um, have an injury or when you have a trauma on your body and you need to recover from that. It will be normal, especially if you keep continue doing a sport like judo that require you to be that is very demanding on the body. You will likely get an injury, but most injury will get better with just time. And you can still train with an injury. When you see all the injuries that I get here, I have never stopped training. I basically never stopped training. I dislocated my pinky, for example, they put me they blocked me the hand so that the finger can heal properly, and I swear to God, I was training with the thing on my hand, and I was doing what I could. When I had bilateral elbow tendinopathy, I was still doing randori, but when I start to feel the pain, I was stopping. I still have done all the thing. When I had bilateral bone edema, I wasn't able to move my arm, but I was still doing. I was still training with my other arm. I was still training with the legs. I was doing the ashibasa. I was training in the gym. When I had hip pain, I was changing the exercises that I was doing. I'm telling to you is that you can still train with an injury if you know what you're doing, if you know how to play around with your training. But you might be asking, oh, but shouldn't I stay still? Shouldn't I rest in order for the injury to heal? My answer is you need to rest the part of your body that it needs to heal. For example, if you have problem in your shoulder, in your right shoulder, you can still train your left shoulder, because if you don't train your left shoulder, it will detrain. It will become less resilient. It will become less stronger, and when you will come back, because your injury is healed, you will be weaker and you will be more exposed to get an injury later on. But this is another topic. The third thing that I learned from all the injury that I had is that there is some stuff that can actually reduce the likelihood of getting an injury once again. And today I'm going to talk to you about the 5 things that I've seen reducing my likelihood of injury and reduce the amount of pain that I was experiencing by doing my sport. The first thing is load management. Don't eat more than you can chew. What does that mean? For that to explain, we need to look at the general adaptation syndrome. When we are training, when we are giving our body a stress, there is a certain dose of stress or training that is called eustress or positive stress, which means we are stimulating in the body some positive adaptations that will make us more resilient and more ready for the next time. For example, let's say that you're doing bench press with, let's say, 80 kilograms, and you do 10 reps with 80 kilograms. You become exhausted from that exercise, which is a stress for your body, but then you will rest, you will recover, and then you will be able to bench press, let's say, 85. Sorry, able to bench press 85 kilograms for 10 reps, which means that your body has adapted. Your muscles has become stronger, your tendons and your bones have become stronger, and they can stand more weight. So this is what we should aim for. But what could happen is that if we try to push too hard, let's say we are bench pressing 2 times a day, every day, we will not give enough time for our body to adapt from the stress that we are giving to it. And if you give too much stress, your body start to become weaker and more prone to injury. You will start to experience chronic fatigue. You will start to experience mood disorders. You will start to reduce your performance. You will start to see like change in appetite, change in libido. I There was a time in my life, I'm not joking, where I was training so much that, first of all, I was in a bad mood all the time, but also my dick stopped working. I'm not joking, guys. My dick stopped working for how much I was training at the time. And if you're training that much that you start feeling strange aches in your body, you see your sexual appetite, let's call that, reducing, and you see changing in, let's say, maybe you eat too much food or too less food, maybe you are going into overtraining. Okay, this will make you more prone to injury. So try to do a good load management, because a good load management will cause an increasing increase of performance and in your work capacity. By work capacity, I mean the amount of training that you can sustain in a singular week. A bad load management will lead you to injuries, will lead you to chronic fatigue and decrease in performance. Also, your dick will stop working. But what I mean by good load management is don't increase too much training too much at the same time. A good rule of thumb is not increasing by 10%, more than 10% of volume from one week to another. Don't start training 5 times a week uh, when you are used to train 2 times a week. Okay, don't do this stupid jumps of volume from one week to another. Also, don't do increased jumps in intensity of training. If you've done, let's say, strength training with 80%, don't do one rep max the next week. Okay, okay, don't do stupid shit. This is the general advice. But there are some more stuff to say about load management. If you might like to a video more precise on load management, I will make one. Just let you know, don't do stupid shit. Basically, you can get it. The second thing that reduced my risk of injury was strength training. By strength training, I mean squatting, hinging, push, upper body pushing, upper body pulling, and jumping. This is the 80%, 90% of what you need in order to reduce your risk of injury. Because as I said before, when you're giving your body a good amount of stress, it will adapt and become more resilient to injury. This is what happens with heavy resistance training. When you're giving tension to your muscles, your bones, and your tendons, they will become the bigger and they become thicker, more resilient to injury. Also, I forgot to add to the list isolation exercises. I also do in my routine neck exercises in order to make my neck more robust, and also some elbow exercises, because these are the let's say the zones of my body that are more prone to pain. You might need something more specific to your situation. By the way, if you need some help with your strength and conditioning, with your rehab, or if you're suffering from a chronic injury in judo, grappling, or wrestling, you can write me a comment, you can write me an email, or let me know in some way. You have all the information in the description. If you need some help, don't want any money from that. I will be gladly happy to listen to your problems and help you. By the way, do some strength training at least once or twice per week, because this will make you much more resilient and allow you to have a more longer career in your judo journey. The third thing would be nutrition. I faced a lot of weight cuts. Not a lot, but a decent amount of weight cuts in my judo career. And I can tell you that when I wasn't eating enough or wasn't eating properly, I felt much more fragile. I felt much more risk of injury. I remember that the times when I was cutting the weight and I was completely dehydrated, I felt like I was made of glass. I felt like every ashiwaza that I was taken was taking a lot much to recover than usual. I felt like every time I was falling, everything was breaking inside me. So you need to pay attention to your nutrition, because if you don't eat enough protein, if you don't eat enough calories, or if you eat shitty food, your body will not have the energy and will not have the protein to regenerate your body resources. Because when you're training, you're depleting your resources, you're depleting your muscles your of glycogen, you are breaking down proteins, you're breaking down your bones, you're breaking down your tendons, and you need to repair them with protein and energy. So eat enough calories, eat enough protein, and eat high quality foods, because also micronutrients are important. You cannot go on with cookies and peanut butter, okay? You need to eat high quality foods, high quality food sources. I don't need to tell you what high quality foods are. I believe that you know deep inside you if you're eating high quality foods or not. So pay attention to your nutrition, because if you're not paying attention to your nutrition, you may pay for that later. It's not as important as strength training and load management, but it's still very important. The fourth thing is sleep. It was proven that the athletes that are not sleeping at least 7 hours every night are more prone to injury. Why? First of all, sleep is crucial because it's the moment of our day when our body starts to uh, build muscle. Okay, if you don't sleep enough, your body will not build muscle. If you don't build muscle, you will become more fragile because there is less tissue that is stabilizing your joints. The second thing, when you are doing judo, judo is an extremely catabolic sport, which means that you are breaking down a lot of tissues. You are uh, breaking down glycogen, you're breaking down your bones, you're breaking down your tendons and ligaments. During sleep, there is a process of reparation of these tissues, and if you're not sleeping enough, our body don't have the time to clean all the toxins that accumulated during training, and doesn't have time to repair those tissues. There is another thing. If you're not sleeping, you are less reactive, which means that if there is a stimulus, if someone is attacking you, you have a delayed response. Let's say that you're doing randori. If you've slept enough the night before, you become much more reactive to what your opponent is doing to you. If you have slept less, you are less reactive. By being less reactive, if your partner does something that you don't really expect, you are exposed to a greater risk of injury. You're exposed to have a head concussion, for example, or to have your knee trapped inside your partner's legs and risk to have an ACL injury. You become much less reactive. So remember to sleep enough accordingly to your lifestyle, but try to sleep at least 7 to 9 hours every night. Otherwise, your life will start to become very, very. First of all, there are a lot of negative effects of lack of sleeping, but if you stay chronically underslept, you expose yourself to a greater risk of injury. So also pay attention to sleep hygiene. The fifth thing is lifestyle and stress. I saw on my skin that when I was the most stressed, for example, for assignments in university or personal problems or other stuff, maybe stress and lifestyle doesn't strictly hit you directly on your body, but it will affect your sleep. It will affect your nutrition. It will affect your training. Because let's say that you're really stressed for a job situation, you won't be really focused on your training during your judo, and you will risk to have an injury because you're thinking about other stuff. You might have trouble to sleep because you have accumulated too much cortisol that won't allow you to fall asleep during the night. You will have an non-regular nutrition because maybe you are out all day working and so you don't have time to eat, or you're too much stressed working and you don't have time to and you come back home and you start to binge eating the cookies that you have in the kitchen. Also, you maybe start to skip your strength training, for example. You will start to skip your training in general. So also pay attention to your lifestyle and your stress and understand which role judo and your training plays into your life. If you're serious about your judo, you should build your lifestyle and you should build what you do around your judo journey. I'm not saying that who doesn't do that is less of a judoka. I'm saying that if you want to really improve, I believe that you should you should think about, okay, doing judo and becoming a better athlete is my priority. How can I put everything else around this? Okay, this is a matter of organization, because if you start to structure your day and your life around your training in your sport, you will have much more satisfaction and you will have much less risk of injury. I get that this is a lot of information, and I get that it's difficult to apply all of that stuff on your own, but I would like to give you some advice and free information so that you can use that for your own situation. By the way, as I said before, if you need to have some help, or if you might want have more information about the stuff that I talked here, let me know that in the comments, or write me something in the write me an email, or you can book a one-on-one call with me and have a free consultation about what you can do to improve your judo, your performance, and reduce your risk of injury. I hope that this video was useful. Remember to aim upward as always.